This has got some amazing art you won't believe. It's the hit Netflix show, but in comic book form. There's such a huge variety of comics out there, I love them all. Don't you?
Hey everyone, it's vmcampos, comic book fan. I've got a cool video for you here where I'm gonna go through a short box of comics. I've got way too many comics and I want to show off a few with you. So we're gonna look at some comics in this short box. It's gonna be a long, loving look at this box of comics, so check the description for the various chapter stops to jump through different parts. I vaguely remember what's in the box, but we can look at it all together. So let's get started looking at a bunch of comics. So this short box is all alphabetical. We've got The Adventurers. Well, it doesn't have the at the beginning, but Adventurers. This is from Adventures Publications. This is a Peter Sue comic from the 80s, black and white, lots of violence, swords and sorcery, nudity, all that stuff. I think this is volume 2 or something, and a very cool cover of a guy battling some scary Shrek-looking guy. You saw this a moment ago. Yes, it's Aliens #1, published by Dark Horse Comics. Dig that vintage Dark Horse Comics logo. Interior art is in black and white, and it is amazing. Some of the most amazing art I've ever seen. This is a 4th printing, actually, and this is getting up there big bucks at the moment. Even the subsequent printings, because they're just lower print runs. The interior is extremely detailed art. This is the color, but imagine this in black and white. Imagine all of these lines and everything in black and white. It is a tremendous book. This was published in the late 80s, so obviously this is early canon, and Dark Horse started off licensing a bunch of movies and such in their early comics. Here we have issue #2 of 6 of the series. I got this one first, and then I got issue #1. This is a first printing, very cool, evocative cover. And I only have 1 and 2. I don't have the whole collection of 6, so I don't know what happens. And then we have this series over here, another Aliens. This came out a little bit later. This is 1 of 4. We have these beautiful sort of airbrush covers. This is one of my favorite covers of all. Yeah, I think it's airbrush. We see a little bit of the splatter there. It's such a cool cover. And there he's doing the live long and prosper until I kill you. Well, I do have the whole collection of this. It's 1 through 4. So there's #3, Alien Queen. Hey, I just noticed 3 fingers over there compared to 5? Never noticed that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is only 3. Interesting. I wonder if that's a mistake. No, because here's 5, and then the 4th one. So, very cool. The back covers actually combine to be one huge 4-panel poster. So here we have the next Alien series with these amazing airbrushed covers. How about Alien 3 a few years later? This is an Arthur Sidem cover. Very cool, very scary cover. And this is 2 of 3. I've only got #2 of 3. I picked this up at a local shop. Sidem #1. This artist is very well known for doing a lot of the zombie arts, zombie covers. I believe he's doing a bunch of them for Dynamite with their big ol' zombie series at the moment. What do you think about the movie? Did you like Alien 3? Did you ever see David Fincher's original cut for it? Tell me in the comments. Oh, good. Aliens vs. Predator. This is #1. Finally, the clash of the ages. Before it happened on the big screen, it happened in the comics, of course. This is not the first appearance of Aliens vs. Predator. That happened in another Dark Horse book, but this is their first story together. I kind of don't love the cover art on this. I don't know why, but the Predator looks a little bit chunky for some reason, not the usual svelte. And why does he have the claws out even before he's battling anything? Now the green from the ship looks cool, and these red tones in the background look cool. I just think the main Predator character doesn't look that great. What do you think? Moving on to some other books, we've got Alien Worlds. This is from Pacific Comics, which was actually founded right here in my hometown of sunny San Diego. Is Williamson, Jones, Conrad, Mayerick, and Redondo, Joe Chiodo cover. And this is an anthology series, black and white, $1.50, independent publisher. Just a bunch of stories of sci-fi and sexy ladies in space, plus space lizards. Besides Alien Worlds, I also have Alien Encounters. This is very similar to that. All this is from Eclipse rather than Pacific Comics. I think there's some connection there that one went to the other, something like that. Pacific Comics didn't last a whole long time. By the mid-'80s, they were gone, and then Eclipse from the mid-'80s to the early '90s. So I think they kind of passed a torch on, and it's kind of in that same style. The Illustrated Science Fiction magazine for mature readers. And here we have some space ladies battling some space creatures or something. Cool logo of the comic as well as Eclipse. I always like the Eclipse logo. This is $1.75 and another Joe Chiodo. All right, here's something a little bit more modern. Amazing Spider-Man number 5, second appearance of Silk, first appearance on the cover. Now, Silk is an interesting character because actually her foot made a cameo appearance on Amazing Spider-Man number 1, the 2014 relaunch after Superior Spider-Man. So she'd been cameoing all the way up until issue 4, full appearance issue 4, further appearance issue 5, first cover appearance over here. So second appearance, second full appearance of Silk, one of the big spider characters that is important nowadays, and that outfit is just so funny. She's just totally naked but full of webs. This is an Humberto Ramos cover. I like his style. I like it over on Strange Academy, for example. So, second appearance, Silk. Back to some more 80s stuff. Here we have from Innovation Comics, another publisher that is long gone. This was in the 80s. This is cover painting by John Bolton. I loved John Bolton's realistic painted stuff. You can see the texture of the canvas, and it's just so amazing. What is that right there in her hands? Kids, no, that's not an iPhone. That is a telephone, a landline, with a very creepy skull, and this character looks pretty amazing. So Angry Shadows. It's an anthology horror series. I love these types of books, 80s independent black and white publishers. So Innovation, they also had licensed books. They had, I believe, Speed Racer, Green Hornet, Married with Children, and then, of course, their original stuff like Ralph Snart and Angry Shadows and the like. Do you like some Halloween stuff? Some Archie Comics stuff? Here's Afterlife with Archie Comics number 1, Halloween Comic Fest variant. I think this is a third printing. Technically, that's what the barcode says right here, 00113. The final 3 here is third printing. So this is an amazing series. I was really shook when I first got into it. It's basically the zombie plague infects Riverdale. I have this one, and it's kind of weird how they numbered this. This is Afterlife with Archie Season 2, but it's reprinting Issue 7. The first 1 through 6 were Season 1, sort of, and then Issues 7 to 12 or something are Season 2. This is also another third printing, another Halloween Comic Fest, unstamped, so even more valuable. And then, similar to that, we had the Halloween Comic Fest Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and also Season 2. So this is reprinting Issue 7, second print. And this was the spin-off. They're not happening in the same universe, although they're the same sort of idea, and with amazing Robert Hack art. Ooh, I forgot to shout out over here. Francesco Francavilla is doing some amazing covers and interiors, just such good art. And then Robert Hack. I think I like Robert Hack's art a little bit sorry, Francavilla, but Robert Hack's art is so good. Really, really like it. And this is Season 2, Issue 7, second print. These are fun. It's Bill and Ted's Excellent Comics, number 1 and number 12, first issue, final issue. So here we have Evan Dorkin as the artist. I don't remember who the writer is, but I love Dorkin's work. Milk and Cheese is his big comic, of course, plus others. Eltingville Club. What is this? Totally resplendent, triumphant, stellar, non-heinous, non-bogus, most classically excellent first issue, $1. About a year later, issue 12 came out, $1.25. Final issue later, dudes. So after the recent Bill and Ted hype, the third part, did you ever see the third Bill and Ted Face the Music? Did you ever see it? Anyway, here we have the comic that was in the early 90s. 1992 is when the series ended, and I remember that 30th anniversary of Spider-Man. That was 30 years ago. The 30th anniversary happened 30 years ago. I still cannot believe that. But anyway, we're talking about Bill and Ted, and just some really cool, fun art, very cartoony art. What do you think? Does Dorkin capture Keanu's and Alex's personas very well? What about George Carlin? Does he do a good job on them caricaturing? I think so. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. Brian Boland's Black Book, so from Eclipse and Quality Comics, British publisher. It's just a bunch of Brian Boland stuff. Cover's not in great condition. Boland does some just tremendous artwork. Here's the cover. Sweet dreams with that. Remember Brutes and Babes? Yeah, I don't really either, but this is Bart Sears's Brutes and Babes Infinity. This started off as a feature on Wizard magazine on how to draw brutes and babes, and then got his own comic over at Ominous Press. I don't remember if they are a subsidiary of anything else, but this is so classic 90s. We have Sears, Smith, Tobolsky, Perkins, Morrissey, and Merritt. So 90s. So here we have the Marvel was doing a variety of furry covers. So here we have this Captain Marvel #1 variant edition, 8th variant as noted here, rated teen plus. And yeah, I'll probably get the other ones just for fun to have the collection, but I felt the Captain Marvel Foxy furry cover was pretty fun. Marvel Now, all new. Alright, well, yes, we know, okay. Full disclosure, Dave Sim is a problematic comic book creator. I don't agree with his misogynistic stance, and putting that on the table, but moving on. Cerebus's World Tour, San Jose, California, May 14, 1992. Mothers and Daughters, issue 43, in total 193. So, if you didn't know, this is one of the longest running independent comics. It was exactly 300 issues long, so this is a perfect example of separating the art from the artist. I will gladly put Sim in the dustbin of history as the person, but Cerebus's creation is definitely lauded and important in the grand scheme of comics. Here we have an ad for the APE, that is the Alternative Press Expo, second year in a row. 1994 was the first year. We of course know San Diego Comic-Con, but there's a whole family of other conventions in the Southern California area. Do you have any issues of Cerebus? Tell me in the comments. Okay, here I have a whole run of certain comics. So here we have Oni Double Feature #1 from Oni Press. So an early Oni Press. They don't use the Oni logo anymore, that little Japanese demon thing. And who's that? Jay and Silent Bob. So it's the first appearance of Jay and Silent Bob in comic book form. This is actually a flip book. Yeah, trust me, it's a flip book. And it's the first appearance of Jay and Silent Bob in comics. And as I said, there's a whole run of these. I got a bunch of these Clerks comics. So here we have Clerks, the comic book #1. This is a Los Bros Hernandez cover. Dante and Randall. I think it's really good caricatures of them. What about you? More Clerks books. Here's the holiday special, the infamous holiday special. Kind of damaged on the side over here, I guess. Really fun cover. This is an Arthur Adams cover. Pretty cool. Art Danger Adams. Here is the Lost Scene, the Clerks Lost Scene. So this is pretty cool because you get to see it in comic book format. Of course, written by Kevin Smith, and a little bit more realistic rendition of the characters. Alright, so then Jay and Silent Bob got their own book. This is 1 through 4. I've got all 4. Hey, that's a newsstand edition. That's right, Oni Press, smaller publisher, newsstand edition. Very rare edition, photo variant cover. Then I've got the regular drawn covers. This is by Mike Allred. Sorry, Mike Allred. And Jay and Silent Bob go on some adventures. So it's issue #1 and 2. And then 3 and 4. So much action on these covers with a variety of different artists. I really like it. Look at this realism here. Just really good expressions and action. Kind of a busy cover, but it does feel manic and action-packed. Oh yeah, so we got some Cowboy Bebop comics. This is issue #2. And yes, I do have the whole regular series. And yes, I do have the whole series, so here's issue #1. Hey, that's another copy of issue #2. There's #3. There's #4. So we have Radical Edward in some green tones, newsstand edition. And then we've got Jet Black, newsstand edition. And then we've got, that's in red. And then we've got Faye Valentine Newsstand Edition in yellow and Spike Spiegel Newsstand Edition in these cool blue tones. This is from Tokyo Pop. So this is early 90s. This is the first appearance of Cowboy Bebop in comic form. These are big bucks at the moment because everyone loves Cowboy Bebop. And I got this one years before these over here at a thrift store for 99 cents. Thank you, thrift store, for writing on top of on the actual book that this is $1. I love it when the thrift stores write right upon the comics and damage them. Now, these are also flipped. Now, the cover is kind of weird over here, but these are in mint. These are flipped, actually, so it is right to left reading like the original Japanese, so that's really cool. Thank you for doing that, Tokyo Pop. Happy birthday, Image Comics. Here we have Cyberforce number 0. So the Mark Silvestri contribution to Image Comics. Were you a big Image Comics fan back in the day? Are you rediscovering those treasures of the 90s nowadays? Were they the scourge of the 90s? Tell me your opinion in the comments. Not exactly happy birthday Dark Horse Comics, but here's the very first Dark Horse Comics issue ever. They started with Dark Horse Presents. And it's interesting because it makes it look like this is Black Cross, but it's Dark Horse Presents DHP, and that went on for hundreds of issues throughout the decades. And it's an anthology series with a variety of creators and stories. This one has Black Cross, which has faded off into obscurity, but it has the first appearance of Concrete, Paul Chadwick's Concrete, which then goes over here on issue number 2. Now, this one's incredibly beat up. I get this at a thrift store with some other books that were in much better condition, but this is completely beat up. I should probably get a better copy of it one day. So it's it's the second Dark Horse Comics ever, and it's the second appearance of Concrete. I've got a run of Dark Horse Comics here, actually, so buckle up. How about over here, another early Dark Horse Comics, issue number 22. I believe this has the first appearance of Duckman in comics, so I think that's why I got this one. I have to double check. Oh yeah, right there, first Duckman. Made myself a note there, very nice. Here we have an early appearance of Aliens. It's often erroneously thought that this is the first appearance of aliens in comics, but no, it's actually Aliens. This is just another early appearance of aliens in the comic books. Here's 35, another one. This is an early Predator in the comics. Dark Horse Presents number 35. We have Aliens vs. Predator, issue number 36. Now, this one actually has two variant covers. Well, one variant cover. 36, here's a painted Dave Dorman cover, I believe. Who did this cover? I think it's Dave Dorman. And then this one is another one. So, variant covers, early 90s variant covers. This is before they really took off in the 90s, especially nowadays. But it's two different covers for Aliens vs. Predator. Which one do you like more? Again, I think this is Dave Dorman. I'll probably put it up on screen if I'm not too lazy. Dave Dorman or this other name right here. So which one do you like better? Cover A? Let's make it easy. Cover A or cover B? Here we have the Dark Horse Comics Insider, 1994, the world's greatest comics. So it's sort of a preview book with a little bit of art and story, and here is a sort of a preview of Hellboy Seed of Destruction. So the pre-first appearance of Hellboy and Monkey Man and O'Brien, etc. This one's interesting. It's first appearance of Dr. Aphra. Not really, but sort of, but not really. Comic Fest, Star Wars, Darth Vader, #1, Dr. Aphra. This is such a funny reprint. The first appearance of Dr. Aphra is in Star Wars, Darth Vader, #3, which I have somewhere. And this is a reprint of that, but giving the focus to Dr. Aphra, also 000, and the other Killbot, I forget its name. So down here, it says 13611. So what does that even mean there? But it's a reprint. There's already like 5 or 6 reprints of issue number 3 of the original, and this is yet another reprint. This is the Halloween Comic Fest reprint. Ooh, this one's nice. So this is Darth Vader number 25. This is the Galactic Icons variant. This is variant 36 of 36. We have this beautiful C-3PO protocol droid. Really like the art on this one. Just that golden droid has always put a smile on my face. The 90s with Cry for Dawn. So here we have from Sirius, Joseph Michael Linsner's captivating character, Dawn. And, yeah, it's a story about, like, magic and demons and cataclysmic events and very little clothing and big 80s hair. So it's issue number 1 from Joseph Michael Linsner. Hey, there's skulls on our boobies. Got a few issues over here of Death's Head. Here's Death's Head number 1. This Marvel UK character debuting in a Transformers issue, actually. It was supposed to be a one-shot. People loved it. They gave it its own series. He's a bounty hunter. He's mechanical. He has very interesting speech patterns. Buy this comic and stay healthy, yes? And then it got rebooted in the 90s, completely different. I bought these just to kind of compare, and I love the original way more than the reboot. Death's Head 2. Death's Head is completely terminated, yes? And so this suit or creature, whatever it was called, minion or something, was assassinating various characters throughout the multiverse and gaining their powers or whatever, so he assassinated Death's Head. Death's Head will was too strong, so he took over Minion, and now he became Death's Head 2, the death of Death's Head. This is so 90s, this is so over the top. And then we have the regular series, Death's Head 2, issue number 1. Pretty cool epic cover. The interior art on both of these just don't hold a candle to the original Death's Head art, unfortunately. And it's just so the excesses of the 90s, such violent characters and kind of shallow story and the like, but pretty cool eye-catching covers. Here's a Batman book, Sam Keith. Batman art, you can tell definitely that Sam Keith style, never mind the signature, but there's just all of these aspects of the Sam Keithitude of it all. Like, look at those huge muscles. Those muscles are bigger than Batman's head, bigger than that kid's head right there, but we love it. We love Sam Keith. Thank you for this cover, Sam Keith. What's the inside story? I don't even remember, but it's a Sam Keith cover. Oh, here's a classic one, Elektra Assassin. This is from Marvel's Epic Comics line of more mature stuff. This is number 2 in an 8-issue limited series. This is straight from the 80s. Love this Bill Sienkiewicz cover, 1986. Just classic Sienkiewicz cover. Classic Frank Miller interior art and story, and it's Elektra Assassin. Here's The Flash, and this looks familiar. The Flash, number 9 from Rebirth. Wally, help me. I'm coming. I'm coming. And this is obviously a tribute to Carmen Infantino. And I believe I got this from those repacks, those Walmart 3-packs or something. But anyway, cool, classic cover. I love the energy all about it. And a take on the classic. More 90s goodness here. Here we have Gen 13 regular series, dress-up doll, paper doll variant cover. There were 13 variant covers for the first issue of Gen 13, very, very fitting. And on this edition, you can cut out the cover and dress Caitlin. Fun attire, a sundress, badass babe, or her regular outfit. Do you have any of these Gen 13 variants? There were 13 to choose from, and this actually pioneered multiple variant covers. That also pioneered the blank sketch cover. This resurrected the paper dolls type of gimmick. So we have more gimmicks. Here we have Gen 13 number 13, and this one had 3 variants. I do have variant B in some other box, but here's A and C, and it's basically adventures with other comic strips, because yes, Archie, Jughead, Bone, and a bunch of other characters come together. There's She. They come together to make this great extravaganza. This is J. Scott Campbell's joint. So 13th issue of Gen 13 with 3 variant covers. Got some issues here of Ghost, early appearances of Ghost. This is Comics Greatest World, Week 3. This is the first appearance of Ghost. And we have, this is a Dave Dorman cover. This is sort of a mixture of the Spirit with more supernatural. And then the regular series, Dark Horse Heroes. Adam Hughes art on the regular series, so that's cool. This is a character that went on for several years. The only one that really lasted from this Comics Greatest World imprint. It wasn't really an imprint, but it was their idea of these various superheroes with a shared universe. So Dark Horse was doing this cool shared universe. This is ripe for a comeback. This is ripe for a cinematic universe because we had a variety of interesting characters. Alright, so here we have Grimjack number 26. Why did I get this one? Second. Okay, this is the second appearance of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in color. Obviously, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, here it is, TMNT in Munden's Bar. So here, the Turtles were, of course, one of the biggest hits of the 80s. They really changed the comic book industry. And they kind of, Eastman and Laird kind of let them appear in a variety of other publishers. And here at First Comics, long extinct publisher, we have them at Munden's Bar, which is a sort of a intergalactic multiverse crossover place, and it's one of their early color appearances. Here's an early issue of Gru with Marvel, issue number 9. So Sergio Aragones's Gru character, the Mendicant Barbarian, this is a newsstand edition, started off at first appearance on Destroyer Duck number 1, I believe, with Eclipse Comics. Early appearances over at Star Slayer Pacific Comics. And then his own book. Went through a few publishers and then went to Marvel for 125 issues. And he was even over at Image Comics for a year. And then now settled over at Dark Horse Comics. I read the recent Gru meets Tarzan. It was really fun. This is a fun character. Here's a beautiful Dave Nakayama variant cover of The Unbelievable Gwenpool, issue number 17. It's a Mary Jane variant cover. DNA's work is so good, it's so luminous, I love it. Mary Jane is my favorite female character in the world of Spider-Man. We got Mary Jane number 1, Felicia Hardy number 2, Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen, Earth 65 number 3, and Dave Nakayama does some amazing art. This is a really, really fun cover. She's doing a selfie. Alright, so here we have, okay, this is just a random book that came with the lot that I bought. So Guardians of the Galaxy 0.1, those numberings are so weird. Anyway, who cares about that? Here's what I care about. We have Guardians of the Galaxy number 5 and number 6. This is the first appearance of Angela in Marvel continuity. Long story, Neil Gaiman created Angela for Todd McFarlane in his Spawn books. There was an ugly legal battle that lasted years and years and years. Eventually, Neil Gaiman won. He won the character back and then sold it to Marvel as a big middle finger to Todd McFarlane. And of course, we all know Todd McFarlane worked at Marvel Comics for a long time. Big name. Disgruntled, left, started Image Comics, and he's doing very well. But Neil Gaiman then sold Angela over to Marvel. She became part of the 10th Realm or something in the whole Thor mythology. Half-sister of Thor. It is the first appearance of Angela in Marvel Comics continuity. Very cool epic cover here. Bruce Timm cover for Heartthrobs number 1 of 4. Vertigo Comics. Part of DC. I only have issue number 1. Suggested for mature readers. The Vertigo line was mature readers. So here we have Brian Boland, Robert Rhodey, Phil Jimenez, Steven Siegel, and Tim Sale. So I mostly got it for the cover. Interior stories are pretty good, but I wanted this Bruce Timm cover. I really love Bruce Timm's style. He, of course, co-created the style for Batman the Animated Series, one of the best renditions of Batman ever. It's just so cute. This is 3 stories, Bruce Timm illustrating, giving a preview for each, and then the creators do the story on the inside. Cute. Got some issues of Jonny Quest. Jonny Quest number 1 by Comico. I always said it Comico, but I hear a lot of people say Comico. How do you say it actually? Can someone officially from the Comico company tell me? I think it's Comico, but it's probably Comico. And anyway, it's issue number 1, newsstand edition. So this is coming over from that publisher, long gone, but they were an important player in the 80s. I wish this was a little bit more mint. There does seem to be some water damage right here, spine ticks, but early appearance of Jonny Quest in the 80s. Did Jonny Quest have anything in like Dell Comics? Probably. And then here we have issue number 5, Dave Stevens cover. Beautiful Dave Stevens art as always here. Jade Incorporated storyline from Comico. So issue number 1 and 5. There's Johnny, Haji, and Bandit. Very cartoony Bandit. Good realism here. And just the classic Dave Stevens femme fatales. Gotta love it. Got a couple of issues of John Carter, Warlord of Mars. This is from Marvel in the 70s. Issue number 11. Special issue, The Origin of Dejah Thoris. This is climbing up in value. There's a newsstand edition. John Carter takes a backseat in his own book to feature the Princess of Mars, Dejah Thoris. I've also got number 10. So number 10 and 11. Is this the death of Barsoom? You'll be shocked when you read the final chapters of The Air Pirates of Mars. So much action and hyperbole. I love it. And yeah, Dejah Thoris. She's cool. Oh, classic. Classic in quotes. From Techno Comics, we have Leonard Nimoy's Primortals, issue number 3, game piece and trading card inside. Oh, the 90s. So everyone was making their own comic publisher in the 90s because we're all gonna be rich. But by 1995, it was a little late. And Techno Comics, when they got into the business, weren't very long for this world. And here we have Leonard Nimoy. I think we also had Isaac Asimov, other big names in sci-fi, but by that time Asimov had passed on. But anyway, there were some big, interesting names in the world of sci-fi. I don't remember what this is about at all, but Leonard Nimoy's name is on it, so that's cool. Manga File number 1 from Radio Comics, August 1999. Fabulous first issue. So here we have an Adam Warren cover in his inimitable style. Just some late 90s, early critical mass manga being published in the US. The magazine for the manga fan. Yep, check out that T-square and everything. Alright, so here we have some controversial books. Let's pop these out. We have Marville. I think I always said it Marville. Very controversial books right here. This is by Bill Jemas, Bright and Neary. Greg Horn cover with foil bikini. Basically, this is a very mean-spirited comic that was created to shock everyone on a dare or a bet or something, and this is the most infamous one of all. This is a Marvel comic with basically a naked girl right on the cover. Now, I don't know if that is actually there just a shadow back there, or a thong, bikini, whatever, or just completely naked cover of a Marvel comic. So definitely a different time, and this... The inside story is also really bad. Supposedly this is a recalled comic. It's not a recalled comic, but it's kind of hard to get and very controversial. So issue number 5 of 6. This is also just another like WTF, what are you doing, Marvel? And yeah, issue number 1 with foil enhancement. What's the story? Don't even ask. It's just so weird. Let's jump back to a simpler time when Marvel Comics tried to create the latest pop sensation. Nightcat, premiere issue. America's hottest singing sensation is now Marvel's newest superhero. So this is incredibly WTF. Marvel hired a singer to be the new singing sensation of the 80s, and she's a comic, and she's a superhero, and we have this amazing Joe Jusko cover art. And there were actual music and cassettes and everything being sold of her, and didn't quite last. This is just a fascinating footnote in the history of comics. Nightcat, when Marvel tried to create a pop star. But yeah, amazing Joe Jusko art. Look at those kitties. 90s Bad Girl comics from Malibu. This is Ultraverse Necro Mantra. A kiss from her may mean death, straight from the pages of Godwheel. This is Bar, Gecko, and Baskerville Direct Edition. So Malibu Comics, one of the indie publishers back in the day, and just publishing more bad girl art. I'm curious to see how the original art is set up, and here, decades before Mila Manera did it, and got his cover a little bit more sanitized by Marvel, here Ultraverse was doing the same thing. Perhaps it's the same pose Manera did years later. Yep, this is going to result in some pretty bad back problems moving forward. Did someone say the first appearance of Cable? Here we go, The New Mutants number 87. Early Rob Liefeld work, first appearance of Cable, but it's a second print. Marvel was doing these second prints with gold ink covers for a little while. I thought that was pretty cool. And so here's a second printing, first appearance of Cable. Here comes the man called Cable. Watch out, muties. And so we've got Liefeld McFarlane, although I feel this is like 99% McFarlane style. I really only see it in this character. I'm not familiar with all the characters, but this feels 99% Todd McFarlane cover art. But in the interiors, it's all Liefeld, isn't it? Anyway, second print. Oblivion Song number 1. The series just ended, or is about to end, isn't it? And it's doing an homage cover to the original book right here. This is Robert Kirkman over at Image Comics. And what is this? This is the pink signature variant as well as the green signature variant. Oh, snap. So it's both of those as like a secret variant. Yes, just the color of the signature is enough to drive collectors over to collect comics. Anyway, I got them both. What about you? Which one do you like more? Which is the more valuable one? Oh, speculation. Moving over to another Image book, The Others. We have the cover here, Valentino, I guess, Jim Valentino, and a bunch of others. Just some 90s Image excess with a bunch of action. Interesting proportions, big weapons, everyone screaming, lots of action, computer colorization, and the like, plus capes. Pikachu, I Choose You. Here we have Pokemon, the Electric Tale of Pikachu. I believe this is first appearance of Pokemon in American comics. This is, however, this is a 13th printing. These were just printed and reprinted and reprinted and reprinted. It's a 13th freaking printing. So obviously if you've got the first printing, that's the big bucks. This is like $1 or something. It is a newsstand edition, so that's cool. It's extremely cute Pikachu. Remember when Pikachu was chubby? Then they put him on a diet and made him much more svelte. And it's the Nintendo seal of approval. So it's the first 3 issues here. I don't remember how many these are. But it's Viz and story and art by Toshiro Ono. These are all newsstand editions and just subsequent printings. What do I have marked here? This one is marked as a 7th printing. These are in the late 90s. So, yep, Pikachu. Predator comic, first appearance of Predator. So I got this over at my local comic shop, Now or Never Comics. I really like how they put their labels on things so you know what you're getting. And yeah, that's what I paid for there. So Predator, first appearance of Predator in comics, early Dark Horse series. As I said, Dark Horse was really getting a lot of licensed properties back in the day. And it's kind of fun, the story here, because on the very last page, the main character is revealed to be the brother of Dutch, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was in the movie. So this all, of course, is happening before Predator 2 and such. So none of it is canon, but early Predator. All right, these right here are fun and totally WTF. We have presidential material John McCain. This is from early IDW. Dig their vintage logo. This is J. Scott Campbell. Making, not to be too partisan, but making John McCain look way too much like a supervillain. And then we have, of course, Barack Obama. So this was during the election of '09. J. Scott Campbell depicting both the presidential candidates for the Republicans and the Democrats. And we know how all that turned out. So really cool diptych right here. If you put them together like that, they look like friends. But if you put them over like that, they look like enemies. And so R.I.P. John McCain. But here we have Barack Obama, my favorite superhero. I bought a few more of these sort of related things. So IDW did a few of these. So after the election of President Obama, then it was the sort of road to the White House. So a biography of him and such, and then the first 100 days, so after he's been elected, how's things going? And then this seems like it's the same sort of thing, but no, this is from a different publisher. This is from Blue Water Comics. So we have Female Force, Michelle Obama, although it looks exactly like the same sort of style, but it's not related at all, even though it looks like all part of the same sequence. But here we have some presidential comics. You don't really see these too often nowadays, so it's kind of cool to check them out once in a while. Historical comics. Got some Red Sonja books over here. Here we have Red Sonja, She-Devil with a Sword, issue number 1, Fire and Fury in the Age of Conan, To the Death. By popular demand, fabulous first issue. Newsstand edition, 30 cents. So here's an early Red Sonja. It's not her first appearance. That's over on a Conan book. And it's not her first solo title either. That was in a Marvel team-up or some other Marvel book. This is her first ongoing series. So much action. Then we have a volume 2 over here. Volume 2, volume 3 or something. 60 cents. So a little bit more chaste of an outfit by that time. So those of you that get annoyed that, well, why are they changing these original classic characters and just making them more woke? Get over yourself. They've been doing that all the time. Grow up. And so, yeah, it's a few issues of this volume. I think it's volume 3, and then here we go at $1. So, Red Sonja action and early appearance right here. So, 2 number 1s. I'm going to get all the number 1s one day. Spider-Man Magazine number 2. This is reprinting early appearances of the Black Cat, and this series was reprint books, 96 pages for $2.95. This is in the 90s. So the first appearance of the Black Cat, second appearance, and so forth. Newsstand edition. Pretty cool cover, although the eyes on both of them look weird. Spider-Man's eyes look too small here, and Felicia's mask also looks like they didn't actually draw it, they just colored it in. And then there's a little bit of this floating hair, which is not connected to the rest of the hair. Not as great as it can be, but it's cool to see the early appearances of the Black Cat, one of my favorite, actually my favorite female villain, hero, anti-hero, sometimes villain, love interest of Spider-Man, friends with benefits. She's complicated. Here we have Spider-Woman and a third printing, Spider-Woman number 2, recent series. This is a Greg Land variant cover, kind of a fun, just design upside down, as the spider characters are wont to do. How do we even hold this? It looks cool there. So, yep, Greg Land cover with the Spider-Verse storyline going on at that time. Ooh, this one's interesting. This is from Whitman, 79 cents. Adventures in Science Fiction, Never Before in Comics, Who Goes There? John W. Campbell's classic, plus Raymond C. Banks and Chad Oliver and more. So this is from, what year is this? I'll put it up on the screen, I guess. But here's a science fiction anthology series from Whitman Comics, best known for their Whitman repacks, and those books can be big bucks. But I got this because it's the first appearance of Who Goes There in comics. If you know the story, the history of things, Who Goes There is the inspiration for the classic B-movie of the 50s or 60s, The Thing from Another World, which was eventually redone as John Carpenter's The Thing, one of the best horror sci-fi movies ever done. Here we have the first adaptation of that in comic book format. Really cool. Got some early Star Wars books over here. This is issue number 7, all new. Han Solo and Chewbacca on a world the law forgot. So I have 7, 8, and 9 right here. These are stories that happened after the first 6 issues. The first 6 Star Wars books were basically retelling the story of the movies, and right here, at last, beyond the movie, beyond the galaxy. So people, of course, wanted more Star Wars. It would be years later until we got more Star Wars, but in the meantime, Marvel was publishing a bunch of comics. Now, this one's the 35-cent direct edition version over here, no barcode, which would be newsstand. So I think this is a Whitman variant, 35 cents, direct edition variant, something like that. Then here we have the first appearance of Jackson, 8 Against the World. So this is a 3-issue, is it 3 or 4? I think it's 4 issues, so I'm missing number 10. And it's just new adventures. George Lucas was still figuring out what he was doing with the movies, so Marvel could kind of go their own way for a bit, sort of. And here we have a sort of 7 samurai, the Magnificent Seven type of plot happening in these. Keep firing, Chewie, all of you. It's do or die. Here comes the Cloud Riders. Yeah, and it looks like it's gonna be die. Jackson always had a bad attitude. So anyway, all 3 of these are the direct edition, Whitman editions, something like that, 35-cent editions. They're variants, basically. Obviously, there's the newsstand editions. I think these are direct editions or repacks or something. Tell me what it is in the comments. You know what it is. Next up, we've got some Star Wars books, specifically Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. These prequels are definitely being reevaluated nowadays, aren't they? Although this nostalgia is definitely recoloring how we think about these movies, especially how recently Disney has dealt with the stories, right? But anyway, these are the photo variant covers. There's obviously the drawn covers, but these are the photo variant covers. Are they marked over here? Not really. Obviously, these are pretty beat up, but I wanted to get these and actually have more of these. Let me show these off. It's the exact same books, but let me show you something here. So, all right, so it's the photo variant, issue number 1 of 4. Here's another one. So yeah, I got 3 of them. Why is that? Well, if you look right here, this says direct sales. Okay, cool. If you look right here, this says Star Wars Presents. This is a newsstand edition. This is late 90s newsstand editions photo variant cover. This is very rare. I have the regular edition, and then I have the newsstand edition. And yes, in all of these, it's the exact same thing. Here's the newsstand edition barcode. Here is the direct sales. So I have, and these are way more in near mint condition compared to the ones I showed a moment ago. Those were like 5.0s or something. And so yeah, I got all of them right here. Just scouring through eBay. Sometimes people don't know what they're selling. They think they're selling these books, but you gotta look carefully. When you're a hardcore comic collector, comic fan, you have to look carefully. These are newsstand editions, much more rare compared to the comic shop editions. And yeah, I got all 4 of them, 1 through 4. Photo covers, newsstand editions, near mint condition, plus some backups, plus some ones that are beat up over there. So yeah, you might say I'm a fan, a connoisseur of it all. And pro tip for you, scour those eBay listings and zoom in on their photos, because you might find things that the seller doesn't realize what they're selling. I bought some comics. They gave me a free Stranger Things, free comic book day. I don't know if this is worth anything. Rated all ages, unstamped, and yeah, Stranger Things in comic book form. Strange Tales featuring Black Cat and Doctor Strange. This was pretty fun. I really liked the interior art. This is 2 stories. This is Marvel just doing a bunch of their team-ups. Here we have Black Cat and Dagger from Cloak and Dagger with incredibly 80s hair. This is 75 cents, 1987. Terry Austin art. Really, really, really like the interior art. And as I said, Black Cat, Felicia Hardy is one of my favorite characters. Although she's got the sort of the Black Widow belt for some reason. And then those huge shoulder pads, so 80s. So, yeah, so 80s, and then Dazzler, so 80s. How about some early Alex Ross art? Here we have from Now Comics, another publisher. You know what, now that I think about it, I said earlier Innovation had characters such as Married with Children, Green Hornet, Speed Racer. I actually meant Now Comics. I think I'm mixing it all up, so hopefully I went back and corrected myself on the video. But anyway, yeah, so here we have an early Alex Ross cover art and interior art. This is Terminator: The Burning Earth. It was This happened after Terminator 1, but before Terminator 2. That's when he was calling himself Alexander Ross. So it's 1 and 2 and 3. Very cool covers. Very beautiful painted art from Alex Ross. The interiors are also amazing, but the interior cardstock is not great, paper stock, and so his amazing work just doesn't fit as well as it could. Doesn't look printed as well as it could. So that's kind of weird. Now let's point out a few cool things. Newsstand edition. So newsstand edition from Now Comics. This cover has always stood out to me because, of course, we have the machine inside the body. And then this one, I really love it. It's just basically the Terminator, but as the female Terminator. So look at that. Decades before Terminator 3, we had a female Terminatrix. So here's another newsstand edition. Here we have, once again, another newsstand edition. This was published in May. That's what that means. April, May. So cool cover, lots of red eyes in action, very cool shiny. This would have been way cooler in a sort of a foil cover. Cover's kind of damaged over here, might get a better one, but another newsstand variant. And here's the final issue, 5 out of 5. Now this one's interesting for a few reasons. So direct edition right here, no barcode. Looks a little weird, but that's direct edition. And here is a hidden message. Alex Ross was not happy with his employee over at Now Comics, and he took it out on them right on the cover of their own book. Let me give you a moment to see if you can decipher the secret message. If you can't, let me reveal it. 3, 2, 1. Check it out right here. It says NOWCOMIXBLOZ. Now Comics blows. So he wasn't happy with his employment at Now Comics, and here he is dissing them on the cover right here for everyone to see. Trilogy Tour number 2, Volume 2, 1998. So here we have a bunch of incredible creators putting an anthology jam book together, $4.95. We have Jeff Smith of Bone, Charles Vest, just classic artist, fantasy artist, Linda Medley, don't remember her work exactly, Mark Crilly, don't remember his work, Jill Thompson, Scary Godmother, and Stan Sakai, Usagi Ojimbo. Charles Vest painted cover. So very cool anthology series with a bunch of creators. I had to get number 1, of course. This is their second compilation. Got to get that first compilation at some point. The Twisted Tales of Bruce Jones is number 3, the illustrated horror magazine for mature readers. Another Eclipse comic. This is part 3 of 4. So it's all Bruce Jones work on the inside and swords and sorcery sort of thing, sexy characters, out of this world stuff. No, that's not the Comics Court Authority. That is the Flood Control Comics logo for some reason. So very ethereal character. Very eye-catching cover. Couple of Uncle Scrooge books. Donald and Scrooge, that is from Disney. This is from Gladstone, I believe. And so I got a couple of these. Number 2, not Carl Barks stuff. I believe he passed on by this point. And just some fun Disney comics. No, this is not Gladstone, is it? I think it's Disney publishing it themselves. Now the seller mislabeled it as a little bit of damage. Actually, this cover is completely detached, so I did get a partial refund because this cover is just completely detached. But really cool overall. Besides a detached cover, I'm pretty happy with the quality of the book, and the stories are always cool. Watch out, Donald! Inflation is on the rise. Web of Spider-Man number 113, still sealed in the bag. This is guest starring Black Cat with Gambit. It's sealed because it's also got a bonus 16-page preview of the upcoming Spider-Man cartoon series, plus in each Spidey title this month, a different 4-color animation style print based on the show. Collect all 6. So this has Spider-Man Adventures cartoon series after Batman Adventures. We got a Spider-Man version, and they were just promoting it with some cool gimmicks. Then I've also got number 114, Don't Care. I wanted this one because it's got that extra stuff. Plus Black Cat. Very interesting here, Wildcats X-Men The Golden Age. This is Scott Lobdell and Travis Charest. Eye-popping full-color 3D edition. Yep, if you use some 3D glasses, you are going to see this story in 3 dimensions. It's actually very good quality. By this time in the world of comics, they had mastered the secrets of 3D comics. So this looks really nice. There's just no way to show it on YouTube. You have to see it in person. And it's 3D comics. So it's an early Wolverine story during World War II. Alright, this is fun. Worlds Collide, Rift Between Worlds. This is DC plus Milestone. Milestone Comics, of course, was the place where a variety of black creators put out their characters. And here we have the characters of the main DC continuity meeting up with them. There's actually 2 versions of this. There's that plain version, and there is the gimmick cover version, where it's full of clings, like little plastic stickers where you can create your own cover. Why be content with the cover that they give you? But the book actually has a bunch of stickers that you can make your own cover. They also did that with Superman versus Lobo when the return of Superman. And this is a very fun gimmick. Make your own cover. Wrapping up the long video, we've got X-Force. No, it doesn't have the Deadpool card, but it's the first collector's item. This is the million selling. How many? 5 million? Yeah, because Spider-Man #1 was 3 million, X-Force was 5 million, Wildcats was like 8 million, 9 million or something. So right here I'm holding one of the most sold comics in the history of the world. Free official Marvel superhero trading card enclosed, available only with this collector's edition. There's a few variants. I think there was a second print and newsstand edition and a couple of variants. Not too many. Marvel hadn't gone crazy with that just yet. But, of course, everyone's got this book. The one you want is with the Deadpool card. Actually, which one do I have here, just to check? Actually, I noted here newsstand. Okay, so it's the newsstand edition, still sealed, so that's a variant right there, newsstand edition. This one comes with the X-Force team, plus the other card, which doesn't do anything, but you want the Deadpool card, and still sealed, newsstand edition, so yep, there you go, one of the #1 selling comics of all time. And we'll end the video with X-Force #2, Deadpool's Back, the second appearance of Deadpool. Very popular character, of course. If you listen to Rob Liefeld's podcast, Robservations, he takes you on the fascinating journey of that character. Lots of great history of the character. Cover isn't quite amazing because you don't really see Deadpool. He's there getting attacked. But you get the idea. There's Deadpool. Second appearance of Deadpool. Action-packed cover. Now, is this ink? Foil ink or something? Silver ink on the cover. Oh, yeah, there's a little bit of a gimmick. So we have very, very subtle silver ink on the cover. And also the 50th anniversary of Captain America. So now we're at the 80th anniversary of Captain America. Happy birthday, Cap. Whew, so that was a long video. If you stuck it out this far, thanks so much. I got a bunch of comics here, and this is one of many boxes that I have. This one's a short box, and this video is an hour long. Imagine if I do a long box, it'll be double the length. That's because we took a long, loving look at a bunch of comics that I have here. And once again, it's not even my full collection. This isn't even my full power. There's my full collection over there. You really can't completely see it, but a bunch of comics over there as well. So if you like comic books, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, battle the Minotaur, do all that good stuff. I would really appreciate it. I put out a bunch of videos about comic books all the time, so make sure you subscribe. What did you like in my collection here? What was your favorite? What was the most WTH? What makes you the most jealous? Tell me in the comments. What are you on the lookout for? Want to buy any of this stuff? Tell me in the comments. This is mostly stuff I've gotten from eBay in the last few years, so tell me in the comments if you've gotten any cool eBay stuff yourself. I'd love to hear it. Let's talk about comics. And I'd really appreciate a sub right here on YouTube. I would also appreciate that you pledge on Patreon, patreon.com/vmcampos. For as little as $1, you can show support for the channel. I would really appreciate it. Us creators really love creating stuff, but we also love it when you, fans, chip in a little bit. Starting at $1, I think that's a great deal. Or if you can't pledge at the moment, no worries. Simply like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell, battle the Minotaur. Do all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. My voice is going out, so I gotta wrap it up. This has been VM Campos, and I'll see you next time.